Y'all, look at this giant creature. When I see something like this, you know what it makes me think?
Big dude.
Does it have an ass?
Sure it has an ass.
I mean, I'd be remiss if we didn't find out.
You've been working out?
All right, let's get out of here. Nice.
Wow.
All right, you guys. This is my good friend Diego Flores.
What's up, my friends?
Now, I've consistently avoided having him on this video because I think he's too handsome and my girlfriend watches these videos and such. But now, the truth is out.
What's the most important things in life for you at the moment?
Most important things in life. The immediate things that come to mind are very simple. My family. I care about my family deeply. I care about my work, my commitment to personal creativity deeply. In my life, I get very unhappy if I'm bored. Like boredom is like a death sentence to me.
Well, this brings an important topic because yes, we need purpose. We need to be moving. That gives us a drive, something to look forward, something to keep stepping towards.
Right.
But it's also important, the resting part. You said that you don't want to be bored. It's actually a great skill, being able to be bored.
Talk to me.
This is something that is really important because it did change my life for the better. It is the balance between exertion and recharging and rejuvenation. When we overexert in terms of physical, in terms of emotional, just continue going without pause, without that necessary silence, then it becomes counterproductive. We are not able to perform as well as we want to. In terms of how I approach it, if I'm going to, an event that requires me to socialize, to be present, I know that I need some time to recharge and to build up that mental energy that allows me to be the most present, the most social that I want to be. And when I mean mental energy, I mean your neurochemicals, primarily dopamine. So first of all, what does dopamine do? Primarily, in this conversation, it's important to discuss the part about dopamine being in charge of focus and motivation, and the reward molecule that gives us feedback when we like something.
My mind goes to Andrew Huberman.
Yes,
He's one of the men who has laid out the train tracks as well for how dopamine is used to control us as modern consumers who own devices and things like that. He was one of the first people who opened my eyes to how much of a lab rat we are for dopamine devices. All of the modern social media platforms have been optimized to turn us into dopamine rats.
Yes, they hijack our reward system.
Thank you. That's the right way to say it. Our reward systems have been hijacked. And so a good portion of my day is actually taken up trying to avoid falling into that trap of just acting on the unconscious, just being unconscious.
Yeah.
This has been significantly on my mind recently, how to unplug and escape being caught in this loop of dopamine chasing. How do we escape it, Diego?
Yeah.
How do we get free?
I like this analogy. Hold a cup for me.
Hold a cup.
I'm gonna cut a lemon. Ooh, pretty sour.
A little tart.
All right, cut a lemon. You wake up, the lemon is fresh. It has all the lemon juice.
Beautiful.
You squeeze a little, and a lot of lemon juice comes out in the cup.
Around real quick.
Oh, beautiful, right?
It's pretty diluted, though. we could use some more of that lemon juice.
Pick an activity.
I'm going to wake up and immediately log on to Instagram and see if I've gotten any messages.
A lot of juice. And just a little squeeze. The more you squeeze, the less lemon juice you have. And once the lemon is kind of dry, you need to squeeze harder. So your brain is asking for higher dopaminergic activities. So in the morning you wake up, you slept, you synthesized a lot of dopamine and didn't use as much. You don't want to use it all at once. In the morning, start scrolling because that dopamine reserve is depleting pretty fast. And by the end of the day, you'll be feeling depleted, unmotivated. Socializing will be harder. Working will be harder. Going to the gym, it would be hard to push yourself to do it.
So when you're already low on dopamine, that's when your brain just starts asking you to keep pressing the button.
Yeah,
Give me more,
keep
give me
squeezing.
more.
And it is not satisfied because you don't have dopamine and it is not giving you that reward you need and it's asking for more.
So let me ask you this. Is there a way I can use dopamine and my, hamster-like desire to run towards it? Is there a way I can use that reward system to actually benefit my life in a positive way?
Definitely.
Can I game the system so I actually make myself more productive and useful?
Yeah, so you want activities that release dopamine in a more steady, a more prolonged manner. So things like exercising releases dopamine.
Right.
So that's a good activity. Ice baths release a shit ton of dopamine, but it is in a prolonged way, and it's not a big spike and then a crash. It's more of a slow curve.
I need that.
Yeah,
ramp
so
of
you need to
dopamine.
ramp dopamine. Yeah, and it's okay if you scroll. You just have to understand that you are expending a lot and that you will then have less dopamine to things that are more productive.
So use sparingly. Just use your power sparingly.
If you are feeling low on dopamine, that's where the boredom part comes. It's a skill to have. Just do nothing. Let yourself synthesize the dopamine. I practice something called Yoga Nidra, which Andrew Huberman speaks about fondly. He has done several studies on this. The scientific term is called non-sleep deep rest, where you perform a body scan. You shift focus throughout your body, which allows you to enter this wakeful and asleep state. It's the state you are just before you fall asleep or when you're just waking up. So you are not overutilizing your dopamine and you are synthesizing it while you perform it. And it has similar effects as a short nap, 20-minute nap.
That is fascinating. I want to talk about using boredom as a strength.
Yes.
Because you challenged me on this earlier when we were talking about how one of the things I avoid, like the plague, is being bored, right?
The plague.
Would you talk to me about the useful aspects of boredom and how it can actually be a strength?
Especially nowadays where stimuli is abundant and you can seek it everywhere. Being able to be present with boredom is a skill because you're able to regenerate certain neurochemicals that you've used, and also it gives you time to reflect. Instead of seeking external sources of stimuli, distractions, you can explore your mind, and that's where you can meditate. I mean, meditate can be boring, So you're just sitting around doing nothing.
Whenever I meditate, the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm amazed at how damn how chattery, I think the Buddhists refer to it as the monkey mind.
The monkey mind.
Just chattering and running around, whacking those little symbols together. Just anything to distract you from the nothingness, which is really just sitting with your mind and watching.
And like
observing.
any practice, it is difficult at first. Going to the gym, if you just start, it's like, I don't want to do this. This takes a lot of exertion. An interesting point would be if you go to the gym, don't focus the reward on finishing the workout, but on doing the workout, because that will allow you to enjoy the process, not the outcome, which I think is very important. Same with meditating. Enjoy the process of meditating. Enjoy being bored and doing nothing. It can seem daunting at first, and especially when we're so used to stimulus and quick gratifications. But that slow release of dopamine, of enjoying an activity that takes effort, is very powerful.
So many of the things I think of in life as being daunting are taking action.
Yeah.
And I think it's very ironic that one of the most daunting possibilities is not taking any action.
Right.
And just existing with your own self.
Beautifully said.
When you look at a human as a child, what are the questions we ask as a kid? When we had the least amount of distraction, when we had the least amount of outside influence about how we should judge our environment, the questions we constantly ask as children are what and why. You know, I think there's 5 in total, right? Who, what, when, where, why.
Yeah.
The one I'm always the most fascinated with, and is a driving force behind even producing these videos, is the question of why.
Why?
Because what is easy to see? A lot of the people I talk to, you know, yourself included, like, I know what's about you. I know you're one of my brothers. I know you have a business. I know you have activities you like to do. But the question that always goes further, and I think creates those branches of conversation, is why do you like doing what you're doing?
Right.
You know, I think it's very easy to reduce other people we see around us all the time to very simple decisions. Well, you believe in that religion, you voted for that political party, right? Now I know enough about you to have a judgment upon you. And I think that's completely counterproductive to what connects us as humans. So the purpose of why we film these is to demonstrate to people the beauty and the nuance of another human, any human we could see. When asked the right questions, when given a listening ear, there's a world of possibility inside every person. And I want to encourage other people to do the same. I want them to feel inspired to have conversations with strangers and go deeper with their friends that they already know and find out interesting things about each other.
It's important to understand that everyone has their own story and you want to know it. You want to learn about their story. Even if you have the prejudice that they're boring or that there's nothing of value that they can offer you, just by simply acknowledging that they have their own life story and making the conscious effort to be present and be intrigued about their story just opens the door for conversation and more meaningful conversations.
Diego Flores, everybody. Man, thank you for watching, man. If you think of anybody else fascinating like Diego that I should talk to, please let me know down in the comments. I'll see you next Sunday. Have a good one.